Hey there everybody, it's Noah with Producer Hive, and today I'd like to show you around Fluid Pitch. Fluid Pitch is a fairly new MIDI plugin designed by Pitch Innovations, which is a company out of India, and the key feature in Fluid Pitch is that it allows you to scale lock your pitch bend function on your MIDI device. And so without any further ado, why don't I go ahead and show you how this thing works. Basically, when you open up Fluid Pitch, you start off with a few different options here. The main draw is that you can set your scale that you are going to lock your pitch bend function to. For the sake of today's demo, I'm going to make use of A sharp, which is the same thing as B flat. I'm thinking in terms of B flat minor. So in addition to picking out the root, you can pick out your scale. And basically what these are, you've got a bunch of presets, right? So you've got your major and minor modes, along with the other 5 modes, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Locrian. But then you can also choose from one of these pentatonic scales, so that would be a 5-pitch scale. In the case of what I'm going to work on today, I do want a minor key area, but what I want to do in order to get the sound I'm looking for, I want to make use of a harmonic minor scale. So I'm going to change from this lowered scale degree 7 to a raised scale degree 7. So I'm going to get rid of that one and keep this one. So this is essentially the harmonic minor scale. And so it's kind of nice that you have the option of making use of presets or like starting out using a preset, but then switching it to your exact specifications. You can also choose your range. So in the case of what I want to do with this tune that I'm going to play around with, I want to stick to within a fifth. So within a fifth of the pitch bend. So in order to do that, all I have to do is make sure that I have my, my bend range set to 12 here and 12 here. So what I'm going to have to do is switch this to 12 and switch this to 12. And so now my synth, the synth I'm using, by the way, is the Triple Cheese. I am very pleased with this this HS Gruyere preset. I think it sounds great. You'll hear it in a minute. What I'm doing is setting the range of the pitch bend function, and then I'm setting the same range here, and then basically Fluid Pitch registers that full range, and then it isolates it so that it fixes the range within the range that you have selected, so that you're only hearing a fifth above and a fifth below. And so once you have set these specifications, you've got some other ones you can choose from, but this is going to be enough for me for right now. So let's go ahead and start listening to how this sounds. So that gives you an idea of what you're working with when it comes to Fluid Pitch. Basically, it is going to take your position on the pitch bend wheel, which is a continuous function, and it's going to decide whether you're closer to this pitch or to this pitch, and then based on proximity, it's basically going to round you up or round you down. That being said, it's not like you've taken your pitch bend function and turned it into a keyboard with discrete pitches, because you still have that feeling of continuous movement between pitches. It's just that wherever you land is going to be a position on the scale. So it's basically just making it so that it sounds like you're really good with your pitch bend intonation. And At least for me, I'm not. So that's kind of nice. For me, fluid pitch is offering me a little bit of a guardrail on my use of the pitch bend function. Now, I'm not usually one to use the pitch bend function very often because I find it a little bit frightening, a little bit nerve-wracking. I'm afraid I'm going to land on the wrong pitch. I'm afraid that my pitch bending is going to sound sloppy. So having a scale-locked functionality in that pitch bend is giving me a new branch to my workflow that I wouldn't have had otherwise, because I probably wouldn't use the pitch bend tool if it weren't for the fact that I have this little bit of support that I need. Now, I should say something briefly about the micro-tuning functionality of fluid pitch, because I personally don't know anywhere near enough about Makam or Raga in order to speak to this from personal experience. But for those of you watching who are better acquainted with like traditional Arabic music or Carnatic classical music or Hindustani classical music, you will have a use for this ability to micro-tune individual pitches within your pitch bend locking system. So basically what you can do is access pitches within a Makam or a Raga that are not easily reached on a MIDI keyboard. It allows you to fine-tune your scale locking system so that you can reach those pitches in sort of a circuitous route, but using a device that would otherwise be somewhat restrictive. This is opening up those pitches that you otherwise wouldn't be able to reach without some sort of micro-tuning system. So I think that's very cool. I do not yet have a use for that function, but I aspire one day to have a use for that function. So that's pretty cool. I hope you have found this video a little bit useful. I hope you've learned a little something. If you have, make sure that you take a moment to subscribe to the Producer Hive YouTube page. Also check out producerhive.com, where all of our written content and all that stuff goes as well. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.